Hi, everyone. I'm David from the podcast team at I-Fal, the English learning app you know and love. Grab your coffee, just like we do every morning in Tel Aviv traffic, and let's dive into 5 news stories. I'll give you a simple summary, share a little Israeli perspective, and point out some useful English words along the way. 1. Val Kilmer's AI movie appearance. A new film called Deep as a Tomb has a surprising twist. Actor Val Kilmer was too sick to film, and sadly he passed away last year. But the director and Kilmer's family used artificial intelligence to create his performance. Now we have a full trailer with Kilmer's face, voice, and emotions, even though he never actually shot the scenes. From an Israeli point of view, it feels like the same technology that helps us avoid traffic with Waze is now helping Hollywood bring back an actor. It's amazing, although a bit strange, to see someone on screen who never filmed those parts. This also leads to important questions about creativity and respect for actors' legacies. Here's our first word. Cast. LBHVR Esh H Knim. In filmmaking, to cast means to choose all the actors who will play in the movie. MSHPI LKHL HTSRYT, so the casting director has a big responsibility. 2. A cultural night at the National Library. On an upcoming Saturday night, the National Library is hosting Lighthouse, a special event full of performances, guided visits, and art installations. You can stroll among the shelves late into the night, listen to music by Asaf Amdursky, see the dance group Hajirafot, and enjoy talks from writers like Galit Chugi and Sachi Grad. This reminds me of those Aleph Bet tours we took on school trips, except this time it's adults sipping tea and chatting under the stars in Jerusalem. It's a great way to mix culture with relaxation. No army drills here, just calm creativity. Let's learn another word. Tour, Siver. A tour is a guided walk or trip through a place, often with a guide who explains things. It's perfect for discovering hidden corners of a library you pass every day. 3. A new melody for a classic poem. The famous Polish poetess Wisława Szymborska wrote a poem called The End and the Beginning, about how someone must clean up after a war. Now 2 Israeli musicians, Ovadia Hamama and Natalie Tittenbaum, have set the poem to a fresh melody with a Jewish twist. The music gives the words new life and highlights their timeless message. After every conflict, people rebuild and move on. In Israel, we know well the feeling of cleaning up our streets and gardens after a holiday or storm. We roll up our sleeves, grab a broom, and get to work. This song captures that same spirit, hope mixed with responsibility. Here's word number 3. Expense. HVTSA. Although it's from the next story, expense simply means money you spend. We often say, I have many expenses this month, and we all nod, because rent, coffee, and even a quick falafel at the corner add up. 4. Self-employed in Israel. Tough times and small wins. A recent report looked at self-employed people in Israel. It shows that many small business owners struggle because of high taxes and fees, especially after March spending reports. However, there is one bright spot. Around the country's birthday week, activity rose a little, meaning people did spend on festivities. So, although many freelancers feel squeezed by rules and payments, there is still hope and a half-full glass. If you ever met someone running a small cafe in the Shuk or teaching yoga in Herzliya, you know the challenge of covering rent, equipment, and taxes. Yet these entrepreneurs also feel proud. They shape their own schedules and see direct results from their hard work. We already introduced expense, but notice how this word shows up again. Each lunch, each bus ticket, it's another expense. Keeping track of expenses can help a business owner plan better, and maybe even relax on a Friday afternoon with a good book. 5. How to invest in the S&P 500 from Israel. Finally, let's talk about investing. The S&P 500 is a popular index that tracks 500 large U.S. companies. People consider it a solid choice for long-term growth. But if you live in Israel, you need to know the best way to invest, what fees you pay, and how exchange rates affect your returns. Many Israelis use online platforms or local brokers to buy shares or index funds. They compare commissions, small fees you pay each time you trade, and decide whether to invest directly or through a managed fund. It may sound complicated, but once you understand the basics, you can set up a recurring investment and watch your savings grow, just like a small almond tree in the Galilee. One more word to finish. Index, MDD. An index is a collection of assets or numbers that shows how a market or sector is performing. The S&P 500 is an index of big American companies. That's it for today's news summaries. I hope these stories gave you a little insight into culture, technology, art, business, and investing. Most importantly, I enjoyed helping you learn some English today. Remember the I-Fal app, only 20 shekels per lesson. Vidi minva naim ventra bipim haba.